Have you ever heard the saying, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3? I think that's pretty funny because learning to count is kind of difficult for little brains to do. It's not easy. As adults, we've practiced counting so many times in our lives that it seems really easy to us, but we don't realize that the skill of counting is actually many different skills packaged together. First, you need to learn to say the number words in order. Then you need to learn to connect each number word to a quantity so that those numbers mean an amount of something. After that, you need to learn to read the number symbols, and then finally you need to learn to write them. Once your child has mastered all of those skills, they will have the basic foundation for math. It isn't easy and it takes a lot of time and practice. If you do this at home, over several years with your child, they will find math at school easy and fun. If you wait to let the school teach your child their numbers, they will almost certainly fall behind. I would like to help you break down how to teach these skills to your preschool-aged child in ways that will fit right into the habits that you already do, and also find a way to hide the teaching of the numbers in an easy activity that will help create memories with your child. Hello, I'm your host, Miriam Brown. In addition to my teaching certificate, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's in curriculum and instruction. I spent the last decade as a public school teacher, and I want to give you insider tips on how to help your child do well in a system that might otherwise fail them. Today, I want to focus on the first step in learning numbers, and that is saying them in order. This is what educators call rote counting. When my kids are little, I take them to the library once a week because we run out of books to read. One day on my way to the checkout counter, I picked up a book called 15 Minutes Outside by Barbara Cohen. I thought it would give me activities to tell my kids to go and do so that I could get something done. In fact, the author was challenging parents to spend time with their child outside. She also gives cheap, low-prep activities for every day of the year, no matter what weather. I love cheap and low-prep. I figured that 15 minutes was such a small amount of time that I could fit that into my day, so I took the challenge. After about a week of dutifully doing an activity from the book every day, my son said, "I think that this is the most important book ever written, because what kids want most is to spend time with their parents." I was kind of taken aback because my son was 11 at the time, and I figured he was getting to an age where playing with parents wasn't all that important. But I think sometimes we spend so much time doing stuff for our kids that we forget to do stuff with them. That book and that experience changed me as a parent, and it underpins many of the ideas in this podcast. Doing well in school is important, but the time that you spend with your kids is probably even more important. I'm hoping that the ideas that I share with you today will help you do both. So don't get frustrated or impatient during the process of helping your child learn their numbers. It's a hard skill, and it will take a lot of time, and they will make a lot of mistakes before they figure out the awesome power of numbers. But they will get it eventually. Don't worry. Today, I'm going to introduce you to two important learning concepts as well. They are repetition and attention. Let's start with repetition. When you repeat something a lot, it becomes ingrained so that it no longer takes very much mental energy to do it. So you can help your kids learn to say the numbers with songs and videos from YouTube, but chances are you're not going to remember to do this every day. Since counting is such an important skill, you want your child to do it so many times that it doesn't take up very much brain power. So I recommend connecting it to a habit that you do every day, hand washing. Now, I'm not a germ freak, but it's pretty important to wash your hands after you use the bathroom, and kids use the bathroom a lot. They usually wait until you're in the grocery store or a really dirty gas station to do it, too. Now, doctors recommend that you scrub the soap on your hands for 20 seconds, and this fits perfectly with teaching your child to count to 20. Honestly, it feels like a lot of time when you're scrubbing the soap for 20 seconds, and most people don't do the full time. But what a great way to repeat the numbers and also help your child be healthy. At first, you will be the one counting, but after a week or so of counting for your child, you can start encouraging them to join in. So how do you go from counting for them to getting them to count for themselves? Recently, I watched my friend Aubrey do a fantastic job of getting a preschool child to count with her. We were making Fruit Loop necklaces with 2- and 3-year-olds. She's a very natural teacher, and she was helping a little girl put on a Fruit Loop, and she said 1 as they passed a Fruit Loop onto the string. Then she paused, and the kid said 2 when the next Fruit Loop went on. Then Aubrey supplied 3, and they traded off counting numbers. I found it interesting because it was not Aubrey's own child, and yet the child very easily caught on to her part in the counting game. So you can transition from doing the counting yourself to counting together at the same time, to trading off saying the numbers, to finally encouraging them to say the numbers all by themselves. When they're saying their numbers every time they wash their hands, they will soon make counting a habit. The second strategy is called attention. It also involves counting to mark time, but it's a lot more fun. You will notice that when kids think things are fun, they learn them a lot faster. This is because they pay more attention when they think it's important. Kids think fun is very important. Many games actually involve counting, but my family really loved playing different versions of hide and seek. In hide and seek, the person who is it has to count. At first, the parent will be it with their child to help them count, but bit by bit, they gain independence and they can be it all by themselves. I invited my kids to talk about which version of hide and seek they remember playing as a kid. This is my daughter, Evelyn. She's 17.
Hi.
Evelyn, can you explain how to play the game of stealth that you guys made up when you were a kid?
It's basically just hide and go seek in the dark, except you only get one room. You curl up in a ball really tight and hide somewhere in the middle or in the corner of the room and wait for someone to find you.
It was actually a lot of fun. It sounds like it would be silly, but since it's dark, you probably should pick a room you know pretty well. When you were a kid, you were really good at counting really early, but you always forgot one number when we were playing stealth. Do you remember which one you always skipped?
That would be the number 15.
And how is it that you remember that number even to this day?
Every time I skipped the number 15, you guys would pretend to be the number 15 and wail and cry.
Oh, you forgot me again. I'm the number 15 and you never remember me. How do you think that personifying the number 15 affected you and your counting ability?
It helped me remember because it is just funny and it made me not want to hurt the number 15's feelings.
That's great, Evelyn. Thanks a lot. I appreciate your help. This is my niece, Stella, and she is turning 15 this week. Stella, what version of hide and go seek do you remember playing?
I really liked Kick the Can.
And what did you like about Kick the Can?
I liked that you got to sneak around and you play it outside in the dark and you have to run and go kick a can. But I like that you got to hide. That was really exciting.
One cool thing about Kick the Can is you don't actually have to stay in the same hiding place the whole time hiding. Did you normally hide by yourself or did you usually hide with me or Aaron?
Usually stick around the adults. I didn't really know what I was doing.
Yeah, a lot of times we sort of fudged the rules. So with smaller children, we usually would hide with them. When you were it, did you do that by yourself or did you do it with an adult?
I think sometimes I did it by myself, but mostly with an adult.
Yeah, exactly. They oftentimes will need help count and also to help go find people. But thanks, Stella. So Kick the Can was kind of a social event. We'd invite friends and neighbors, both adults and little kids. Our friend who had no kids always wanted us to let her know when we were playing Kick the Can so she and her husband could come play, because it really is a lot of fun. Yogi is in a different situation because he's 10 years younger than his next sibling, and the teens are too busy to play. This is going to be the same situation as if you have only one child. Luckily, during the pandemic, we trained our dog Pepper to play hide and go seek. Yogi can do the counting and hiding while I make sure Pepper stays with me. When he yells, "Pepper, come find me," she runs and sniffs him out. I like this one because I can fold laundry or do other chores while I keep Pepper from looking until he's ready. Of course, that means I'm not actually spending very much time with him, so that's kind of cheating. Anyway, teaching your kids to say their numbers might involve a weekly game of hide and seek, and hopefully you can also connect it to the daily habit of washing your hands each time they use the bathroom. This way, rote counting, or saying your numbers in order, comes easy, and you can cut down on the amount of times your child can get sick. So now it's time to put down your phone and go spend a few minutes hanging out with your kids.